If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump,
Okay, why do you support Trump?
because he got inflation under control. The tariffs are working, and gas prices are lower.
Okay, gas prices are actually more expensive since Trump got in office. Inflation is not under control. It's actually trending up, and the tariffs are not working. They're leading to bad economic circumstances. We're seeing losses in jobs. We're seeing increasing unemployment. We're seeing decreasing real GDP growth. We're actually expected to see for the next quarter around 1% real GDP growth, which is definitely a decline in terms of the amount of growth that we've seen. And on average, we've seen significantly lower growth. And then I don't understand how you would say that the tariffs are doing good in general, because we've even seen a decline in real domestic manufacturing investment. So not only has it not benefited any of the other conditions of our economy, it hasn't even done what it's supposed to do.
Well, back in the summertime, all you people were saying that tariffs are going to lead to inflation, and the CPI and the PPI are actually flat.
Okay, well, actually, no, it's trended up. It's at 3% plus now. So, and it's continuing to
Well,
trend up.
well,
Also, like,
the goal is between 2 and 3, right?
it's no, it's actually around 2%. It's typically 1 to 2.
No, no, that's not true.
That's actually true. Yes, it is.
If it gets to 2, then there are issues, such as
No,
no increase in compensation. Salaries don't
that's why
increase
they
as much.
that's why they don't want zero, but 1 to 2% is typically what they want. I don't know why you'd say 2 to 3%. 2 to 3% has not been typically said by economists.
Yeah, yeah, it has.
Really,
The
really, what would you
no,
like to
so
tell me? Who really? Because I mean, the Fed targets 2%, and they typically say 1 to 2.
the CPI and the PPI are relatively flat.
It's over 3% now
Right. So if that
and
was the
trending up.
case, right. So if that was the case, and there were going to be an increase in the CPI and the PPI, then the Fed would not have lowered the interest rate. Correct.
They're trying to do that because we are seeing reductions in jobs. So they're trying to stimulate the amount of jobs. So they're weighing maximum employment and price stability. So they're willing to risk a little bit of what's it called, price stability, to be able to get more maximum employment, because we're having such issues in terms of the employment.
Yeah, I
But that
realize.
risks even higher inflation, which is already trending up.
Yeah, no, I realize that those are the two factors. People are losing their jobs for some of them are for AI, and some of the companies are looking to get thinner, and they're just trimming the fat.
So when you say they're looking to get thinner, it's that they're trying to profit off of people losing their jobs. So you understand that that's
Well,
what's happening. If you wanted jobs to be brought back to America, that's not what's happening. You've actually done the opposite.
well, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but the idea is with these tariffs is to bring manufacturing back into the United States.
But that's not happened. Real domestic manufacturing investment has declined since Trump got in office. And
Yeah,
actually, we saw a
it's not
massive
going to
increase
happen
under
overnight.
Biden's administration to degrees that we haven't seen in decades in this country.
No, but that's what I mean is it's not going to happen overnight.
Okay, well, it hasn't happened over 9 months, over about 10 months almost.
Well, the countries um, that have agreed to, because of the tariffs, bring manufacturing to the United States. We're not going to see those. We're not going to see the fruits of that until a couple years.
Okay. So we have to wait a couple of years, and even when it doesn't happen in a couple of years, because at the point in which it would be a couple of years, they wouldn't have much longer left of his presidency, meaning that there wouldn't be tariffs for much longer, so there wouldn't be much of an investment to invest in that in the first place. They're somehow
No,
going to
but
magically decide to invest in it years down the line.
no, but he's doing it for the good of the future of the country.
Really,
That's
really, he's
why he's doing
for
it now.
for one. It's not for the good of the country. It's actually shifting the burden of taxation from those that are higher income to disproportionately to those that are lower income disproportionately.
The all you guys said was the tariffs were going to increase inflation all summer long,
They
and
have.
and the economists are saying that is not true.
That's
Tariffs are
not what
not leading.
economists are saying. Economists are saying that tariffs have put upward pressure on prices. That's what economists are saying.
I'm sure you could find some that say that, and
Yeah, Jerome
other
Powell.
economists. They're yeah, yeah, Jerome Powell.
Yeah, the chairman of
Can't
the Federal Reserve.
yeah, can't wait till he gets out. because the
He was also
CBO
appointed by Trump historically.
the CBO is starting to vote against him. So as soon as he gets out, we'll get lower inflation because it won't be political anymore. We're
We'll get lower
expecting
inflation because it won't be political. It wasn't political. He was specifically doing things that are going to be based upon the economic trends, nothing to do with politics. Actually, historically, he didn't listen to Trump because Trump was asking him to reduce interest rates, and he wouldn't do it because he didn't think it was better for the economy.
right. So then why then did he wait till right before the election to have a rate cut if it's not political?
Because that's when the economic trends said that it made sense specifically to
No,
do so.
no, that's not true.
Yes,
It's
it
not
is.
true. No, the inflation was
Wait, I'm sorry. Are
increased.
you an economist?
I have a finance degree.
Okay, you have a finance degree. It does not mean that you're an economist.
No, I'm not an economist, but there are
Okay.
economists out there that say
Yeah.
tariffs are not it contributed
Yeah, and
at all to
again, so you
inflation.
don't know what you're talking about. Jerome Powell is an economist. Okay,
Okay, and he's
literally is
also
an economist.
yeah, good. And there are other economists that are way better than he is.
Okay, who?
Everyone that says that
Name
uh,
one.
tariffs are not contributing to
Can you
inflation.
can you name one?
No, I don't have to.
This is what you just
You
said
can
that there
look.
are economists that are better, but you don't even know who you're referencing. You know what
Don't
that
throw up
means?
the trust me, bro. No, don't don't throw that up. You
Well,
know that the
that's
CP.
true here. That's exactly what you said. So there's better economists. There's so much better economists. Who?
So you're telling me that the CPI and the PPI are going up, yet they're going to have another rate cut in February,
Because
according
again,
to
there's greater risks in terms of maximum employment because of the fact that unemployment's trending up and we see the jobs numbers are going down, right? There are not new jobs coming in. There's actually losses.
and that's going to change. The tariffs have not
So
contributed to more.
they want to make sure that the market is stimulated.
Yeah, that's why we left NAFTA. Is because all these companies left the United States because they can manufacture cheaper in Canada and Mexico. So that's why we left that piece of crap.
Wait, left what? Sorry, say that again.
We canceled the NAFTA agreement.
Yeah, and replaced it with the USMCA, right? And Trump increasing tariffs violates the original plans for the USMCA. So he didn't extend it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's going to be
It goes against, so
American.
then it wasn't a good deal. The USMCA that he replaced it with wasn't a good deal under your view.
Have you talked to all the other countries, Parker, that have been ridiculous tariff towards us and told them
Like
that
who?
it leads to inflation?
Like who?
Every country, every
What
country,
country? Name a specific.
China.
Well, okay. China. Well, weren't we the ones that like started the tariff war?
Yeah, but do they have more tariffs on us or we have more tariffs on them?
So I think that we have more tariffs on them.
We have basically the highest tariffs of any other country that we do business with.
Yeah, but tariffs, if they're placing tariffs on us, for example, that's their consumers that are ending up paying the cost.
Right. So,
Okay, so then
so,
what's the issue?
so if you're saying that tariffs are bad, have you had this conversation with every country who has higher tariffs than us?
I would love to have the conversation if you want to do reciprocal tariffs to reduce those. I wouldn't actually have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with reciprocal tariffs if it's meant to specifically reduce tariffs as a whole. That's not the point that I would specifically address here. Like, this isn't reciprocal tariffs. Trump wants to keep the tariffs imposed so that you can increase domestic manufacturing. I don't think tariffs are the mechanism to increase domestic manufacturing. But like
Well,
I do think I do think it's like say a valid position to say try to reduce some tariffs that they have around the world, but they don't have these universalized tariffs that Trump's advocating for. They're like typically targeted on specific industries.
no, I agree with that. I mean, but we're trying to rebalance the tariffs so that other countries are not ripping us off, and that we
What do you
we
mean
have
by
all
ripping us off?
higher tariffs than we have on them.
Okay, so that's not what ripping off would mean. I don't see how that I don't see how we'd be getting ripped off, right, to a greater extent than them when they place tariffs on us, because they're inevitably paying that tariff. The importing businesses in their country,
Right?
and then
But
that's passed on to the consumer.
why should they have higher tariffs on us than we have on them?
I think that they probably shouldn't have tariffs unless we're specifically talking like targeted tariffs. From an individual perspective, there's some targeted tariffs I'm okay with and I think are good. Right? So like I could understand if they have targeted tariffs, but like I would disagree with universalized tariffs. I'm unfamiliar with even a single country that universalized tariffs on us before we had on them.
But you do. We agree that that many other countries have higher tariffs on us than them.
I don't know a single one.
You don't know any country that has higher tariffs on us
No,
or
could you name
charging
one?
more. I just said China.
We have higher tariffs on China than they have on us.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
Okay, so then name a single country in which they have higher tariffs on us than we have on them.
I just said China.
Again, I just told you that wasn't true.
It is true.
It's literally not. We have higher tariffs on them. That's what Trump's whole point was that we're going to get more tariffs on them than they put on us because we're at a trade war,
Oh yeah, yeah. Now,
right?
yeah,
And then they came to
exactly.
some type of deal, and then they still were at the higher tariffs specifically for the U.S. comparative to
No,
China. So you didn't even read your own trade deals
no.
that
We
they
we should
claimed.
have we should have higher tariffs. We're the biggest economy in the world.
It doesn't make sense to have higher tariffs. I think higher tariffs are bad.
All right. Well,
The
we
only
disagree
context
on that.
the only context I've thought about this that would make sense to impose tariffs would be like if you're replacing, say, for example, sales tax with tariffs, because a tariff would be a preferable tax to sales tax. But at that point, just do an income tax. It's progressive.
What do you mean? What do you mean doing income tax? We already have income tax.
Yeah, income tax is a better way to get revenue than tariffs or sales tax even, because those
So
have regressive negative impacts.
you would increase the income tax?
Yes, and decrease sales tax. Yeah,
What? Who would you increase the income tax on?
highest income thresholds.
Okay. So you think that if we're going to increase the income tax, 1%, the top 1% of the wage earners in the United States pay for 41% of the entire tax bill. So you would like that to go from 41% of the entire tax bill to what?
Well, I would say I would like for them to be actually paying a fair share. The top 400 billionaires pay a lower effective tax rate than the working class because of things like long-term capital gains tax rates, which I think are obviously something that we need to address from the standpoint. Income tax, right, shouldn't be taxed at such a higher rate comparative to capital gains in the long run when we're talking about millions and millions of dollars of income on a yearly basis.
No, no, but I just asked you a question. I said they pay 41% of the entire tax bill, the top 1%. What percent would you like to see that go to?
I would see a greater percent, but I don't have like a specific percentage in my head.
Okay. So if the top 10% of wage earners in the United States pay 78% of the entire tax bill, what would you like that to go to?
You said say that one more time?
The top 10% of wage earners in the United States pay 78% of the entire tax bill. What would you like them to pay? The top 10%.
I'm fine with that increasing slightly.
Really?
Yeah.
So if if you, me, and 98 people went to dinner and one person stood up and said, "I'm going to pay 40% of the whole dinner bill," and then nine others said, "We'll contribute and we'll pay
The
78%
issue
of the
is that this isn't a dinner.
entire
This is
dinner
about whether or
bill."
not people get access to their health care, child
No,
care,
but
housing
I'm
affordability, and basic things that they need in their life, right? This is about establishing a baseline for everyone within our society. And I think that that baseline should be established without taxing people who need that money in the very first place, who are in the working class.
yeah, but we have programs to address that right now, and the,
I don't think
there's
that they're
been
extensive to the degree that they should be.
okay, but you do know that the biggest wealth migration from is from California and New York, and that's about to get worse because Mondani's in there. So what when you tax these people, it's similar to what happened in France in 1992, when very socialist country, and because they were being taxed at 60 or 70%.
Socialist. So can you define socialism?
Let me finish my point, please.
Go ahead.
If you're when they were taxing them at 60 or 70%, and they were being paid for the programs and they got sick of it, there was a huge wealth migration that went out of France, and then They elected the more conservative. I'm not saying he was a Republican, but he was more like a Democrat that was more of a centrist, and that's why he got elected. Is because a lot of the wealthy people in France had moved out of France and moved to another country, and you're going to get the same wealth migration that we're seeing in California because of the taxes in California. So you can increase the income tax and you can continue to tax the wealthy, and then they're going to find ways to, such as moving, to go to a state like Texas or Florida that has lower income tax, and then you're not going to have money for those programs. You can't get someone's got to pay for it. You can't get everything for free.
Yeah, so in these particular situations, we're talking about from a federal standpoint. So where are you going to where are you going to go? You're not going to go to a different state if we're talking about federal taxes. So what's
You
your
can go to
point?
different. You can go to a different country.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, that's what's happening.
Then you don't get what other country are they going to go to?
In New York, I think the top 1% pays 40% of the tax bill in New York. So
Dude,
it's not going to
okay.
it's not going to take a lot of people to move out before they start running out of money.
So you
And
say they're going to
then
move out. They already pay higher taxes than the rest of the nation. Why haven't they moved out right now?
because it's about to increase by a lot.
Okay, but wait, but increase by a lot. What do you mean by a lot? Like a few percentage
Well,
points?
no. I think the last that I saw was that Mandani.
I don't think someone making $1 million a year is going to leave New York because of a $20,000 bill.
No, not a twenty
Like
thousand
think
dollar.
about it. They're gonna leave where they live and where they do everything in their life for $20,000.
I'm not talking about $20,000. History has shown that. What Mandani is proposing is that the income tax with people that are making over $1 million goes from 40% to 60%. Do you think
No,
that?
that's not what he's saying. It's an increase by 2%, idiot. Where'd you get
No,
that information from?
because I saw it just this
Twenty
morning.
percent increase? Where did you get that?
Yeah, I just saw it this morning.
There's no 20% increase. You saw it this morning where? On Facebook? On Infowars?
No, no, on CNN. That's what he's proposing.
He's not increasing it by 20%. They're lying.
CNN's
If you
lying.
actually saw, yeah, if you saw that, CNN is lying, yes.
Okay.
But that
All
you
right.
did not see that. You did not see 20% increase. It's a
Do you
2%
think
increase.
you think there's going to be a wealth migration out of the dude? I I live in Connecticut. We're selling our house next year because Mondani moved in because we're going to make a crazy amount on our house. Crazy. We had one guy who paid he paid he was selling his house for $980,000. He
So they're going to
put it
Connecticut, another blue state?
yeah he
Okay, so
put it
why aren't
because
they going to the red states? They're so rich. Why aren't they going
they're
to like Florida or like
it because of its
Texas?
proximity to the to New York, where they can still work, go in,
So you're
three.
saying that they still need to work in New York.
Yeah, but they're going to move out of New York, which is going to lower the amount of money that they have for programs in New York. When there's the wealth migration, you can't say there's not
So
been
hold
wealth
up. By a
migration.
two because of a 2% increase?
You can't, Parker. Look at history. You
No,
can't say
genuinely,
that
because
there's
of a 2% increase. You think they're going to move out because of a 2% increase?
history shows that there's a wealth migration out of California. You
Yeah.
know
People
that.
making $1 million a year are definitely going to leave New York because of the fact that they had to spend $20,000. Yeah, that's
It's not. History shows that you can say $1 million or more. You can say billionaires. You say whatever you want. History shows that there's a massive amount of wealth migration going out of New York City and going out of California. You know that.
well. I live in California. I live in LA.
Hmm.
Yeah. Where is that? I mean, I don't really see that happening.
You don't know that there's the biggest wealth migration is out of California.
Oh, can you give me a source for that or something?
You can look it up if you want. You can do your own homework. I know you're smart, and I know you
Okay.
can.
And if people move out, you know that gives space for people to make money here.
What do you mean?
So people will make more money that are here in the markets here. So if they want to
It's
leave,
not.
go to a different state, they can leave the market.
It's not going to make up for a billionaire moving out of California.
Yeah, it can. If a billionaire moves out of California, I mean, Elon already did that. He already moved his factory, right?
Yeah.
So like, what was your point? Like,
Why did he do that?
because he's a Republican shill.
He moved.
Genuinely.
He moved out of California because he's a shill. He moved out of California because he's making more money there.
Sure, you could say that he would make more money specifically in Texas, but that doesn't mean that that would be like a reason why we should have like a decrease in the level of taxes. We still are going to gain more in revenue in the long run, specifically from the increase in taxes on rich individuals, right? Even if Elon Musk decides to specifically leave in terms of his main particular factory in Texas or something like that.